My name is Rachel, and at 33 years old, I came home from a 2-day work trip to find my garage empty. Not just organized differently, completely empty. 6 vintage cars I'd been restoring for the past decade, gone. My boyfriend, Brandon, 36, was sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop, grinning like he'd just won the lottery. Surprise, I finally dealt with your hoarding problem. My what? All those rusty cars taking up the garage. I donated them to charity. We'll get such a nice tax write-off this year. The Children's Foundation was so grateful. I stood there, processing my 67 Mustang Fastback, the 71 Plymouth Cuda, the 69 Dodge Charger, the 70 Chevelle SS, the 73 Porsche 911 Carrera RS, the 69 Camaro Z28. You donated my cars. Don't be dramatic. They were just sitting there collecting dust. Brandon, those were restoration projects. I've been working on them for years. He rolled his eyes. Please, you barely touched them. I did us both a favor. Now we can actually use the garage for normal cars, like adults. I sat down slowly. Show me the donation receipt. He pulled up a PDF on his laptop, still smiling. See? The Helping Hands Children's Foundation. They said the cars would be auctioned for charity. We can claim the full value. The receipt showed 6 vintage vehicles. Estimated value, $30,000. I almost laughed. $30,000 total. I know, more than I expected for that junk. How generous of me. Did they pick them up? Yesterday morning. They were so efficient. Great, I need to make a call. I went to my office and called my insurance company first. Yes, the cars were still on my policy. Yes, I had recent appraisals for insurance purposes. Yes, I'd email them immediately. Then I called my lawyer. Then I called the auction house that had appraised my collection 6 months ago. By the time I came back downstairs, I had everything I needed. Brandon, I need to show you something. I pulled up the appraisal documents on my phone. This is from Haggerty, the classic car valuation experts from 6 months ago. 1967, Ford Mustang Fastback, restored $385,000. 1971, Plymouth Cuda, numbers matching, restored $450,000. 1969, Dodge Charger RT, restored $420,000. In 1970, Chevelle SS 454, frame-off restoration, $380,000. 1973, Porsche 911 Carrera RS, authentic, restored, $485,000. 1969, Camaro Z28 DZ302, restored, $315,000. Total collection value, $2,045,000. The color drained from his face. That's impossible. They were rusty. They were in climate-controlled storage under custom covers. What you saw as rust was original patina on parts I hadn't restored yet. But the charity said... The charity? I leaned forward. Let me guess. Someplace you found online. He nodded. I pulled up my laptop. Interesting. The Helping Hands Children's Foundation was registered 3 weeks ago. The address they gave is a warehouse owned by Premier Auto Exports. Want to guess what they do? I don't. They ship cars overseas, quickly. He swallowed. You donated my property to a fake charity that's a front for car thieves. And you claimed a $30,000 deduction on our taxes for property you didn't own. What do you mean I didn't own it? We lived together. The cars were titled in my name only, purchased before our relationship with inheritance from my grandfather. You had no legal right to donate them. We're a couple. What's yours is mine. Not in this state, not for premarital assets kept separate. His phone rang. He looked at the caller ID. It's Curtis, my CPA. Better answer it. He put it on speaker. Big mistake. Brandon, we have a serious problem, Curtis said. I just got notification from the IRS about your charitable donation. Yes? Brandon's voice shook. You claimed a $30,000 deduction for donated vehicles, but the IRS received documentation showing the actual value was over $2.4 million. Silence. You're liable for this difference in taxes, plus penalties for false valuation. How much? Brandon whispered. Roughly $2.3 million, plus potential fraud charges if they believe you intentionally undervalued them. He hung up. This can't be happening. Oh, it is, and here's the best part. Since you illegally disposed of my property, you're also liable for the full value in civil court. My lawyer will be in touch. Brandon went through the narcissist's prayer at record speed. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, it's not a big deal. And if it is, it's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. First, he tried denying everything. Claimed I was making up the values. I showed him the insurance policies I'd been paying for years with agreed values for each car. Then he tried minimizing. It's just cars. We have savings. Our savings are about $180,000 combined against a $2.3 million tax bill. Then came blame shifting. He called his mother, Dolores, and put her on speaker without telling me. Mom, Rachel is trying to ruin me over some stupid cars. What cars? Dolores asked. Brandon explained his version, how he'd cleaned the garage and I was being vindictive. Dolores went quiet. Brandon Michael, she said slowly, please tell me you didn't touch the vintage cars. You knew about them. Everyone knew about them. She's been restoring them since before you met. I've seen her work on them every weekend. You helped her organize parts last Christmas. I thought they were junk. The Porsche? The one she drove to your cousin's wedding? That was junk? I'd forgotten about that. Brandon had specifically asked me to drive the 911 to make his cousin jealous, then spent the whole reception bragging about our classic car. Dolores hung up on her own son. Then came the bargaining. Can't we just tell them it was a mistake? Can't you just buy them back? Can't we claim they were stolen? Can't you tell the IRS you donated them? No, and definitely no. But the real entertainment started when he realized I was serious about breaking up. You can't leave me over this. You gave away $2.4 million of my property. I didn't know. You knew they were mine. You knew I worked on them. You knew I cared about them. You just didn't care. He tried to stay in the house that night. I reminded him the house was also premarital property. Mine. He could pack a bag and leave, or I could have him removed for theft. His choice. He left, but not before trying one last manipulation. I'm pregnant. No, you're not. How would you know? Your birth control pills are still in the medicine cabinet. Today's pill is missing, unless you're claiming immaculate conception. He slammed the door so hard the frame cracked. I responded once. Your tax bill is due in 90 days. Better start liquidating assets. The next morning, Brandon hired a lawyer. Not a tax lawyer or a criminal defense lawyer, a relationship lawyer. Because priorities. His lawyer, some guy named Bradley, called me with the confidence of someone who hadn't been briefed properly. My client is willing to forgive your emotional response to her innocent mistake if you agree to counseling. Forgive me, I said. He owes the IRS $2.3 million for fraudulently donating my property. Allegedly. Not allegedly. I have the donation receipt he signed. The IRS has it too. Long pause. I'll call you back. He didn't. Instead, Brandon tried a new strategy. Public humiliation. He posted on social media about how I was choosing cars over family and abandoning him in his time of need. The comments were brutal. His cousin, didn't you brag about those cars at my wedding? His coworker, dude, you posted pics sitting on a Mustang last month. His best friend, you literally told me you did it to teach her a lesson. Wait, what? I reached out to his best friend, Chloe. Turns out Brandon had been planning this for weeks. He was mad that I'd spent a weekend at a car show instead of going to his sister's baby shower. This was revenge. Chloe sent me screenshots. Brandon, she'll learn not to prioritize her toys over me. Brandon, can't wait to see her face when she realizes they're gone. Brandon, maybe now she'll pay attention to me instead of those stupid cars. I forwarded everything to my lawyer and the IRS fraud department. Then things got really interesting. The charity he donated to, they'd already been flagged by the FBI for theft and fraud. Turns out they'd been running this scam for months, convincing people to donate vehicles for tax write-offs, then shipping them overseas for massive profits. An FBI agent actually came to my house. Ms. Rodriguez, we need information about your boyfriend's involvement with this organization. He's my soon-to-be ex, I said, and I'll tell you everything I know. The agent took notes as I explained the whole situation. Then he dropped a bomb. We've recovered one of your vehicles. Which one? The Porsche. It was in a shipping container headed to Dubai. The others, we're still searching. 1 out of 6. Better than nothing. Your boyfriend may be looking at criminal charges too. He signed documents claiming to be the legal owner. Good. That afternoon, his mother, Dolores, called me. Rachel, I'm mortified, she said. I raised him better than this. I thought I did anyway. Is there anything I can do? Honestly, stay out of it. This is between him, me, the IRS, and now the FBI. The FBI, she whispered. Oh my God, is he going to prison? That's for the courts to decide. She started crying. I know he's my son, but you didn't deserve this. Those cars were your grandfather's legacy. Thank you for saying that. For what it's worth, she added, his father and I aren't helping him financially with this mess he created. That was something, at least. Remember how Brandon claimed he was mad because I missed his sister's baby shower for a car show? Well, his sister Adriana reached out with some tea. Rachel, you need to know something, she said. Brandon wasn't even at my baby shower. What? He was in wine country with his book club. I have the Instagram posts. She sent me screenshots, photos posted while I was at the car show. Brandon had guilt-tripped me over missing. He was wine tasting with someone named Jenna. Who's Jenna? I asked. My brother's investment advisor, Adriana said, or at least that's what he told us. I did some digging. Jenna wasn't an investment advisor. She was a former personal trainer turned crypto influencer who sold wealth-building courses online. Her LinkedIn profile was a masterpiece of buzzword soup. I checked our financial records. Brandon had been moving money from his personal account into something called Infinity Wealth Ventures. A quick search confirmed it, Jenna's company. He'd invested $50,000 over the past 6 months. I called my lawyer. This keeps getting better, she said. But wait, there was more. The IRS Criminal Investigation Division wanted to meet. Not just about the tax fraud, about the entire charity scam. They believed Brandon might have been in on it. Why would you think that? I asked. The charity was registered 3 weeks before your boyfriend donated the vehicles, the investigator said. The only other donations they received were from 2 other men in his social circle. What? Both donated their girlfriend's assets. Classic cars, boats, motorcycles, all significantly undervalued. All the owners were out of town during the donations. You think they planned this together? We're investigating that possibility. This wasn't just revenge. This was organized fraud. One of the men has already flipped, the investigator continued. Rebecca Thornton. I recognized the name immediately. She was in Brandon's wine club. Her girlfriend had posted last month about her vintage boat going missing. Rebecca says your boyfriend organized everything, the investigator said. Introduced them to the charity, told them how to handle the donations, even gave them your travel schedule. That evening, Brandon showed up at the house with Jenna. This walking motivational poster in a cropped jacket actually tried to intimidate me. Girl, you need to chill with this whole breakup thing, Jenna said. Brandon made a mistake. Are you seriously in my house right now? I asked. I'm here as his advisor. His advisor who he's been giving money to? Jenna's confidence cracked. That's between us. Actually, it's between you, him, and the bankruptcy court he's about to be in. He owes the IRS $2.3 million. How's that for financial advice? Brandon jumped in. Jenna says we can fight this. With what money? The $50,000 you gave her? The equity you don't have in my house? Your salary from the job you're about to lose? Oh, right. I forgot to mention, Brandon worked for a financial planning firm. They weren't thrilled about the IRS fraud investigation. Jenna started backing toward her Tesla. I think you two need to talk privately, she said. Don't worry, I replied. I'm sure the FBI won't talk to you publicly. You knew about the charity scheme, right? She practically ran to her car. Brandon tried one last manipulation. I only did this because you ignored me. You committed fraud because I went to a car show. You love those cars more than me. Now I don't have the cars or you, I said. Guess we both lost. He called me a monster and left, after trying to take the espresso machine. I reminded him it was purchased after separation. He left it, but took all the coffee pods out of spite. Joke's on him. I drink tea. The dominoes fell fast. First, Rebecca Thornton's girlfriend found out about the wine country trips. Turns out the book club was really Jenna's client appreciation weekends. All the men were partnered. All were secretly investing shared or stolen money with her. All were more than just clients. Jenna's actual boyfriend found out and posted everything on TikTok. Screenshots, voice notes, videos, receipts. Jenna's so-called wealth-building empire collapsed in 48 hours. Last I heard, she fled the state. Second, the FBI recovered 3 more of my cars. The Mustang, the Charger, and the Camaro were sitting in a warehouse waiting to be shipped. The Cuda and the Chevelle were already gone, sold to collectors in Japan. I'll get insurance payouts for those, but it still hurts. Those cars were irreplaceable. Third, Brandon's criminal trial was swift. The evidence was overwhelming. Text messages planning the scheme, bank records showing kickbacks from the fake charity, Rebecca's testimony that Brandon organized everything, search history on his work computer about charity fraud penalties 2 days before donating my cars. He got 18 months in federal prison, 3 years of probation, and restitution to all victims, including me. The breakup was finalized while he was inside. He got nothing except his clothes and personal items. He actually tried to claim spousal support from prison. The judge laughed. Actually laughed. The IRS civil case was worse. They don't play. The $2.3 million bill stood, plus penalties and interest. Bankruptcy doesn't discharge tax fraud debt. He'll be paying it for the rest of his life. His family completely cut him off. Dolores sent me a Christmas card apologizing again. Adriana testified against her own brother. Even his father, who'd been silent through everything, sent me a check for $5,000 with a note. I know the Chevelle was your favorite. I'm sorry. I didn't cash the check. I framed it instead. It wasn't his fault. The best part? The prison Brandon is in has an automotive maintenance program for inmates. He has to work in the garage servicing vehicles. A guard told me Brandon tried to refuse and got put in solitary. Now he changes oil and rotates tires 5 days a week. Karma is a manual transmission, and Brandon never learned to drive stick. Where am I now? I used the insurance money to buy another Chevelle. It's not the same. The original had my grandfather's initials carved into the glove box, but it's close. I'm dating a man named Lucas. He's a mechanic. We met at a car show. He owns a '68 Corvette that would make you weep. When I told him about Brandon, he said, "Anyone who doesn't understand what these cars mean doesn't deserve to be in your passenger seat." He gets it. I still have the Porsche they recovered. I'll never sell it. It's my reminder that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Brandon showed me he valued control and revenge over respect and partnership. The other recovered cars are being restored again. The Mustang needs a new paint job thanks to the FBI's handling, but she'll be perfect soon. Sometimes I get letters from Brandon in prison. I don't open them. My lawyer files them in case he tries anything when he gets out. Apparently, the other inmates call him Hot Wheels because he cries every time he has to work on cars. A guard friend told me Brandon has pictures of my cars taped to his cell wall, not as motivation, but as a reminder of what his entitlement cost him. $2.4 million in cars, $2.3 million in tax debt, 18 months of freedom. His career, his family, his relationship, his reputation. All because he wanted to teach me a lesson for attending a car show. Expensive lesson for him. I learned too. I learned to protect what matters. I learned that someone who claims to love you but destroys what you love doesn't actually love you at all. And I learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't planned. It's letting entitled people face the natural consequences of their actions. The IRS doesn't care about your sob story. The FBI doesn't care that you felt ignored. And classic cars don't care about your power plays. They'll outlast us all. I'm rebuilding my collection. Lucas is helping. We spend weekends at car shows and weeknights in the garage. He taught me how to weld properly. I taught him carburetor tuning. We're happy. Brandon gets out in 8 months. He'll be 38, broke, a convicted felon with massive debt and no prospects. I'll be at a car show, probably not thinking about him at all. Living well isn't the best revenge. Living free of toxic people is. Peace out, Reddit. I'm gonna go work on my charger. Edit. Stop asking if Lucas is single. He's not. Edit 2. Stop asking for Brandon's prison address. No. Edit 3. Jenna was arrested trying to cross into Canada. Turns out fleeing fraud charges is also illegal. Who knew?